Hey, Marlins fans, David Fernandez here for Loaded Bases on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Wanted to jump on this afternoon to share some exciting news coming out of Marlins camp regarding the players on the COVID IL, talk briefly about an exciting call-up that the Marlins made for the weekend series against the Braves, and then preview what we think is going to happen tonight against those Braves. Now, it's going to start with some relatively somber news. The Marlins announced this afternoon that they placed Corey Dickerson on the bereavement list. What that means for Dickerson is he will be out through the weekend series. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family as they deal with this, difficult moment in time for them. Mattingly did say he expects Dickerson back in the lineup Monday or Tuesday. For the bereavement list, players are placed on this list for a minimum of 3 days and a maximum of 7 days. So we could see Dickerson back early next week, but he'll be out for the remainder of the Braves series. Now, to replace Dickerson in the lineup, the Marlins have called up one of their more exciting prospects in Lewin Diaz. Lewin Diaz came over last year from the Minnesota Twins. They acquired him as part of that deal where the Marlins sent Sergio Romo and Chris Valamont to Minnesota. Lewin Diaz is a sweet swinging left-handed bat, first baseman prospect. He's considered the number 8 overall prospect in the Marlins system, according to MLB Pipeline. And in 2019, splitting time between the Marlins AA affiliate and in the Twins organization, Diaz ended up hitting 27 homers, knocking in 76 runs in 121 games. In spring training this year, he was 7 for 26 with a pair of doubles, a homer, and 4 RBI. Mattingly said that Diaz has great hands over at first base and that he's eventually going to be a very, very good defender there and that he's not a huge strikeout guy. What's interesting here is that the Marlins elected to call up Lewin Diaz to replace Corey Dickerson instead of Jesus Sanchez, who's also a left-handed bat, and he's an outfielder. Mattingly said this afternoon that they decided to bring up Diaz versus Jesus Sanchez because they wanted to make sure that they got Jesus Aguilar, the regular first baseman, plenty of rest. They don't want to overwork Aguilar. And Mattingly said that they're pretty set in the outfield at this point. Now, the plan for Diaz, he's likely not playing tonight. He's definitely not in the starting lineup. He could get a turn on Sunday, depending on who Atlanta trots out there as the starting pitcher. And this may only be a cup of coffee here with the majors, with the big club for Diaz, because when Dickerson returns to the club, Diaz might be the one that they ultimately move back to the alternate site. So in the other big news from Marlins camp this afternoon, we learned that the players from the COVID IL, most of them at this point have been approved by the MLBPA joint committee for reinstatement, right? We had heard a little earlier this afternoon that Miguel Rojas and Sandy Alcantara have been approved for, working towards their reinstatement. But now we learn that that most of the players on the COVID IL are ready to work their way back. Now, there's no clear timeline yet as far as how long this is going to take. They're still on the injured list, so no additional roster moves need to be made at this point. They'll remain on the injured list even while they rehab in Jupiter until the point where they're going to be activated. It's at that point, once they're activated, that's when we're going to see, the roster shuffle that's taking place. Speaking of the roster, there's no update yet on what's going on with Mike Morin, but we know that, his injury doesn't look good. He's going for a second opinion, according to Don Mattingly. So tonight we've got Dan Castano making his second career start. His first start at Marlins Park. He's 0-1 with an 8.31 ERA. He's going up against Max Fried, who is ultimately Atlanta's sort of de facto ace at this point. Fried being a left-hander kind of dictated what's going on with the lineup. We're not going to see Mag Sierra get the start. Sierra's a left-handed bat, but we are going to see Monte Harrison back in the lineup, and we are going to see Lewis Brinson back in the lineup as well. It's really important for those two to get going here, especially because they might end up being victims of the roster crunch that's right around the corner. Harrison has struck out in his last 6 at-bats, so you're really looking for him to make strides at the plate this evening. So thanks for joining me. This was a quick one. Needed to jump on here and update everybody on what was going on with the Marlins roster. It's an exciting time. Again, the Marlins are playing an exciting brand of baseball: speed, defense, pitching. Last night when they stole home, it's the first time since 1996 that a team in the MLB has stolen home in 2 consecutive games. We're seeing a fun brand of baseball. The Marlins are in first place for the first time in franchise history in August. This is something that fans can really rally around because this group has really come together. They've got a huge stretch here coming up. Their next 14 games are against NL East opponents. They've got 2 more against the Braves, and then they've got the Mets and the Nationals after that. So this is an important stretch for the Marlins. They have a 2-game lead in the NL East, and they have an opportunity to widen that gap even further this evening. Thanks for joining me. Make sure that you check out our Loaded Bases podcast hosted by Christian Pupo and Zeke Milian. They do great work covering the Marlins and the MLB. And make sure you check out all of our Marlins content over at 5reasonssports.com.